Hello, everyone. I don't know if this is a good link. Who knows? He usually shares gold, okay? So check that link that he's sharing in the chat. We are going live in 5 minutes. Thank you for joining us for Bible study. Today we are on 2 Samuel chapter. What chapter are we on? 2 Samuel chapter 23, okay? You have. I have to change some things. Sorry, guys. Let me just figure something out. Boom, boom, boom. So we're going to be there in 5 minutes. Not letting me click David. Okay. See you in 5. StreamYard is being strange. Let's try this. Shalom. Good day. Good morning to Cassandra. Good evening to Yoav. Oh, Matt, you're on the West Coast too. So good morning to you as well. Yehuda, I don't know where you are. Where are you, Yehuda?
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom. Where are you? I don't know where you are in the world.
Oh, I'm in the USA.
Okay. Is it your afternoon or your morning?
Yeah, this is the morning. I mean afternoon, whatever. Yeah. Eastern Standard Time, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, me too. So welcome everyone. Cassandra, you were very much missed last week. Yehuda, I think I saw you last week in the comments as well. You've attended the Bible study from the Lurk, have you not?
Not. I mean, I was. Who was it? Jacob. Like, I was just in a video in a live. I was just typing like some stuff in the comments. I'll be here for like 20 minutes. Unfortunately, I'm at work and I just saw this going. But yeah,
always invited.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Jacob is saying he invited you, so that's great. Yeah, great to have you out. Great to have you out. I remember some of your comments, and I believe they were quite good. No pressure, though. Yoav, what is behind you? What is going on? Maim, what is it? Maim? I can't see.
Maim David HaMelech.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay. So
these are the three heroes bringing water for King David.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want more details, there is a link.
That's great. That's a great little thing. That's so good. And Matt, we actually have you at home. You're not just wearing. We can see his hair.
No,
his
very far from home. I'm on vacation in Canada right now, so not working. Wow. It was sternly told not to work while I was in country by the border, so I'm inside being a good boy.
Okay, good. Where in Canada? What are we talking about?
A little bit north of Victoria, in this town called Duncan. Martin Shaw is in town for doing a couple of events, and so I'm here to come see him.
Oh, awesome! Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I think we'll jump into the text rather quickly, if that's all right with everyone. Unless Cassandra, you'd like to tell us all about all your vacationings, because you like to share so much information from your personal life. I might as well let you have the floor.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
What an exceptional week that she doesn't want to talk to us about it. Okay. Cassandra, last week you left me high and dry, and I had to read myself. Okay. But now you are here, so I'll let you read.
Now these are the last words of David. The oracle of David, the son of Jesse, the oracle of the man who was raised on high, the anointed of the God of Jacob, the sweet psalmist of Israel.
Okay, pause. Let's pause there. It's a great little introduction already. Does anyone want to comment on these are the last words of David? Like, are we supposed to take that literally? What do you guys think?
The last official
I guess I have a question, like semantic domain of the word last. Is it the final, the concluding, the capstone, his last proclamation from the throne? I don't know. It could mean a lot of things, especially when you have that big of a role.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I've always wondered, there's a couple stories where, like, if you know that you're going to have last words, sometimes people do end on a very profound note. Or sometimes even silly. Oscar Wilde, who is known to be a very funny guy and very, like, clever, his last words were, one of two things has to go in this room, either me or those drapes. That was his last words, right? Like, he wanted to go out on a cheeky note. Ridiculous.
That would take a lot of good timing to know right when you're about to die.
Yeah.
Otherwise, now you have to be quiet until
you just got it. I like that. I had a cat that died, and we knew it was going to be her last day, and it takes all day. Like, she was done, and it was like in the morning, and I think it was like 10 o'clock at night by the time it actually happened. It was hours upon hours. Yeah. People don't realize that. So yeah, if you have your good last lines, you just then have to shut up for a very long time. Either this wallpaper goes or I do. Okay. Yeah, I'll accept Don. That sounds better. It's interesting as well that he refers to himself as the one who was raised on high, the anointed of the God of Jacob, the sweet psalmist of Israel. Okay. Let's jump into, unless does anyone have anything else they want to comment? Okay. Cassandra, just do this little paragraph.
The Spirit of the Lord speaks by me. His word is on my tongue. The God of Israel has spoken. The Rock of Israel has said to me, when one rules justly over men, ruling in the fear of God, he dawns on them like morning light, like the sun shining forth on a cloudless morning, like rain that makes grass to sprout from the earth.
The thing that I would say is that remember, spirit and breath is the same thing. And so to me, the image that is here poetically, so wind, spirit, breath, right? That's all one word in Hebrew. And what is conveyed by saying the breath of Hashem speaks by me, his word is on my tongue. It's the idea of like it's God's breath that comes out of you. That's how I'm speaking right now, right? My breath is coming out of me, and that's how I'm speaking. And so in this image, he's breathing in like God's breath, the breath of the Lord, which is how God makes. And that's like the king is like God on earth, right? So he's taking, this is how God made the world, right? By speaking, right? The God of Israel has spoken. His word is on my tongue. So that idea is the word by which God creates. That's this Messiah, this king is like God's presence on earth. Does that, Yoav, how is that for you? Does that make sense? Or do you think I'm missing what the metaphor is?
I'm struggling.
Is it because the poetry is not well translated?
Because the Hebrew is difficult.
Yeah.
Again, whenever you have a song, it's the deepest layer. I mean, it's quoted verbally from deep history. I'm just struggling to read it. It's easy to read the English because somebody decided or made the decision for me.
Right.
If I have to make the decision myself with the Hebrew,
and that's always the case. Poetry is basically the hardest thing to translate. How do you convey a poetic idea? And then you have older versions of Hebrew, which is very clearly present in the poetic material. Any other thoughts from people? Okay, go ahead.
My thought is that the name of the God changes from the previous song. You don't get the explicit name in this song. You got it a lot in the previous one. It's like a different transition. It's like if there were two traditions for David's last song, and they just gave you both of them.
Sorry, I gotta go. Shalom Aleichem, everyone.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for swinging by. So it is translating the divine name there in verse 2. I'm trying to think. Does it appear? Yeah, it's very short. It only appears once. Whereas, yeah, Yeah, it's the God of Israel, the Rock of Israel, the fear of God. Interesting.
Yeah, it's always it's everywhere in this song. It's only God. They're never the explicit name, and it's definitely the God of Jacob. Okay, I alluded it at the end of the last chapter. You have the tradition of the God of Jacob, and you have the tradition of the God that brought Israel from Egypt. And those two songs came from those two different traditions.
Now I'm looking at the Hebrew right now, and it is
Okay, there is
it
one.
is
Yeah,
it is the
yeah,
divine name in verse 2.
yeah. Now I see it. Yeah,
But still, I get what you mean. It's mostly referring to titles.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, Cassandra, what is the significance of God being? Why do I call on you? I think it's because you're always here, so I pester you, and I make the same point over and over again. And I'm like, do you know what I'm getting at? The God of Israel, the Rock of Israel. Why do I think that's important? Oh, Cassandra, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. Is it because he's not dividing Israel into Judah and the
Yeah.
rest of it?
See, you pay so much attention. You've been here regularly enough, you can see it. To refer to in your death, when there is signs that the kingdom could split at any second, that you refer to God as the one who is the creator of Israel, the God of Israel, and the Rock of Israel. It's a very interesting thing, right?
Right.
Right. If you're speaking to a mixed multitude, you might refer to God as the God of the earth, as opposed to the God of Israel, right, or the God of all people. But instead, it's
Yeah. Huh. It makes me think. I remember one time Peugeot was talking about that in the Pledge of Allegiance for the U.S. they changed it to like under God or something, or they added that in.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't in the original.
Yeah, like as things are changing, as like there's certain changes happening, and we're kind of slipping away from that as a national identity. They put it in to try to reinforce it in a that way, so that you have to say it over and over again because there's like it's about to happen, like something's about to change.
The guy who wrote it, it's also interesting because he was a hardcore communist, unless I'm mistaken. So the one nation under God would have been against what he wanted. What do you do with your hands, Cassandra, while you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Right hand over your heart, eyes on the flag. That's what we had to say every time before we recited it.
So I don't know if you know this. This is what you originally did while saying the salute.
Oh, yeah.
You held one hand out, extending in what is sometimes referred to as the Roman salute towards the flag.
Right, yeah.
I don't know why did this fall out of favor? Why did this go away? Anyone have any idea?
It's just easier to hold it against your body. Your arms are getting tired, man. That's the only reason. I'm sure there's no other concerns. Purely out of compassion for the pledgers.
Yeah.
It is the new generation. They're so weak they can only lift their hands as far as
they must rest.
Such is the way of time.
Yeah, to not lift. Yeah. Okay. All right. Back into the text. Thank you, Don.
Which is still, I'm struggling with it. I mean, I will accept the English translation as it is, because you can understand the Hebrew any which way.
Yeah. Well,
it's a song. I mean, it's a poem. I mean, really, a text that any reader can understand it differently.
Yes. Well, and that's actually one of the reasons why, actually, I haven't seen Yanni commenting today. Yanni, are you out there? Are you alive? Troll twice to say that you're okay. Um, but that's actually one of the benefits of having such an early translation as the Septuagint, is because when you have words that are rarely used, and a lot of the poetic material will also have a word that we only have in Hebrew once and nowhere else. So then how do we know that we're translating it properly into English? One of the things that we look at is very early translations. So something like the Septuagint helps us because it's debated just how old it is, but we know it's very old. So these translations become very helpful to know what becomes a development over time and what is extremely ancient as an interpretation. Yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to get Matt to read because he's actually from home. Cassandra, I hope you are not offended by this.
We starting at 5.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah, he's there, but I don't know if he really is. He's only trolled once. I need a second trolling to know it's really him. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
All right. For does not my house stand so with God? For he has made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and secure. For will he not cause to prosper all my help and my desire? But worthless men are like thorns that are thrown away, for they cannot be taken with the hand. But the man who touches them arms himself with iron and the shaft of a spear, and they are utterly consumed with fire.
Okay, excellent. Excellent.
Well, first of all, here it is the worthless man again, as I commented. This is the book of the worthless man. First appears in the first chapters, in the last chapters. This is the theme of the book.
That's very good.
He started his
go ahead.
career leading Saul by gathering these kind of like worthless men. Like he's been surrounded by these guys his entire life.
Yeah. Well, and it's part of the structure of the whole book, of showing it as one whole narrative. That Yosef was saying it has like what is called a chiastic structure, so that you have parallels repeatedly of the end and the beginning of the book to kind of show it as one piece. And I would agree, Yoav, with the importance of the worthless men. It's very central.
When young God is depressed, I suggest that he will follow the link that I sent. It might lift his spirit.
I don't know what is bothering him. I would love to know, Yanni. Or maybe, no, actually, you know what? Show up for Bible study and we can talk about this separately. Or at the very end. At the very end, you have an invitation to come on and say what I said that was terrible. I accept. This is interesting because does not my house stand so with God? Again, relating this to Israel, how David is referring to house, like the house of David, is a way of saying the kingdom of David, right? So this could actually be speaking of, again, his kingdom. For does not my house stand so with God? For he has made with me an everlasting covenant. It's, the importance of his kingdom.
You gotta ask, when did David actually write this down? Because it's almost like looking back at the divine covenant that God gave to him, and it's like, therefore my house can't be as bad as it appears to be on the surface right now. All this chaos, there's got to be something better than Absalom and Amnon and Abijah coming up in the next couple chapters of First Kings. That's just tearing the family apart.
Right.
It's almost like, I don't know, special pleading. It can't be this bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and the importance of the worthless men, because that's part of the breakup of the kingdom after him too, right? There's a foolish prince. I can't wait for us to get there because it's one of my favorite little puns in the Hebrew, where there's a guy being advised by his young friends to say some really shady stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, David caused a lot of his own problems by not managing his family. That's a good point.
David acted in ways that enticed his sons to follow the routes of the worthless men.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Anything else from anyone? All right. Let's get to these mighty men. I'll go back to Cassandra. Cassandra, would you read for us?
These are the names of the mighty men whom David had. Josheb-Basshebeth, a Tekemonite. He was chief of the 3. He wielded his spear against 800 whom he killed at one time. And next to him among the 3 mighty men was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, son of Ohai. He was with David when they defied the Philistines who were gathered there for battle, and then the men of Israel withdrew. He rose and struck down the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clung to the sword. And the Lord brought about a great victory that day, and the men returned after him only to strip the slain. And next to him was...
Okay, let's pause there. Yoav always likes to make comments on these little battle bits. So what do you have for us? I know he has something.
Those heroes were well-trained swordsmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is you see it time and time again when Yoav is making his little operations with his enemies. They never expect him. He always uses the sword against them unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was their strength. They somehow mastered the swordsmanship with the Philistines. And everybody, hundreds of years later, was still using spears.
Mm-hmm.
And it even, with the Romans, they had the Spanish spear, the gladius.
Mm-hmm.
When the Romans were fighting the Celts or the Britons, the enemy never expected, didn't know what to do when somebody's coming against you with a sword. Because your instinct is you're holding something like you're holding an axe, or your instinct is to lift your hands above your heads in order to strike from above. But when you're lifting your hands, you make your stomach vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And this is the time the gladius is put to use. And this is the same trick that the Romans used, and Yoav and his men were used over and over again. And this is what the one man with his sword can just plow through the enemy camp. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew the proper way to defend against it.
I just want to say something right now because some people might be confused. People think of the gladius as a sword, as a weapon that you hack with, but the purpose of the gladius, like the sword that everyone thinks of when you think of a gladiator, the gladius is actually for stabbing. It is not for hacking. They would sometimes do it, but all of their use of the shield and everything, it was as though you would just be stabbing with it. That's its main purpose, not as like a hacking weapon.
is part of the confusion because gladiatorship is a certain like an ancient form of like WWE to a certain extent, where it looks really ferocious to hit you with the side of a blunt sword. It looks really cool from the stands, but doesn't do anything.
Yeah, we have documentation that the gladiators survived very long, like they actually had long careers, and they would actually be hefty guys. They'd have a couple of extra pounds to them so that they'd be covered in scars because they would be rewarded for getting slashed and whatnot. Very similar, as you're saying, to like WWE, where they would cut themselves and whatnot to make it seem like they were really taking a beating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that image of a clean death as well is stabbing. You don't hack them with it. What I wanted to make an emphasis on is these are the names of the mighty men. The mighty men is a title which is given to the Nephilim. Okay, that same title, what is it? Giborim, the mighty men. It is interesting because if you're trying to line up the beginning and the end of the story, it's like David is creating his own version of it's you have supervillains and then you have superheroes, right? So we have already set up these supervillains, these giants with ridiculous armor and spears and all snake looking, and then you have to have the superheroes that show up to defeat them. So it's like it's taking out the supervillains and putting in their place the superheroes. Okay. Continue, Cassandra.
And next to him was Shammah, the son of Agi the Harite. The Philistines gathered together at Lehi, where there was a plot of ground full of lentils, and the men fled from the Philistines. But he took his stand in the midst of the plot and defended it and struck down the Philistines, and the Lord worked a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chief men went down and came about harvest time to David at the cave of Adullam, when a band of Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then at Bethlehem. And David said longingly, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." Then the 3 mighty men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and carried and brought it to David, but he would not drink of it. He poured it out to the Lord and said, "Far be it from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of the men who went at risk of their lives?" Therefore he would not drink it. These things the 3 mighty men did.
Man. Okay. Talk about that story. Yoav, obviously he did his homework because he came with that picture behind him. Do you have any comments about that story, Yoav?
The story of the water? No, I find it hard to say anything about this chapter. It's all extremely difficult Hebrew, and I don't really understand the plot. Bethlehem, where is Bethlehem? Since when are the Philistines in Bethlehem? It's all very difficult to understand.
Yeah, the thing with the water, I was thinking if they already risked their lives to get it, why wouldn't you drink it?
That's a great question. What is going on with that water?
Yeah. I mean, if you went and got it, wouldn't you be upset that he didn't drink it?
Is this respectful or is it disrespectful?
Yeah, he asked for water from the well of Bethlehem by the gate, and then they went and got it.
Well, is the pouring out seen as like an offering? So in a sense, like he's elevating their gift to something higher than just satisfying the king's thirst to something larger as an offering to God.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess it's because of what he says that I should do. Far be it from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Shall I drink the blood of the men who went at risk of their lives? I don't know. That part I don't. I think it kind of confuses me.
Yeah, he identifies the water so much as a sacrifice that because the drinking of blood is forbidden, right? And he identifies the water as blood.
Okay. So I was right about there is some kind of callbacks to Samson here. And not just like the one guy holding off like a massive amount of
Mhm.
Philistines or enemy armies, but there's also the place of Lehi is mentioned, which is where Samson kills a bunch of them with the donkey's jawbone, and afterwards he prays and asks for a well, I believe.
Hmm. Oh, he asks
Or
for
like
water at the end of that. Yeah.
yeah, afterwards in Judges 15, where he very thirsty, he cried out to the Lord, must I now die of thirst? And then God opened up a hollow
Hmm.
place in Lehi, and the water came out.
Hmm.
Why that's happening here, I don't know, but that's not nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing then I don't know if that connects later when Jesus says, ask for something and they give him the sour wine. That's a little different.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Some interesting ideas.
Even the way they describe it, because they don't always give detail. Here it says David said it longingly. Not just that David said this. He says this with longing. Oh, that someone would give me water to drink.
Yeah. Does he even want it? Is that what is he requesting? Also, I do have to say it. The Valley of the Rephaim. The reason why I highlighted it. Matt, why did I highlight the Valley of the Rephaim? Do you know? Do you know who the Rephaim are?
The Rephaim, they're like the next level down from the Nephilim, right? Those are
That's right.
it's
That's
what
right.
happens to the Nephilim after you kill them. They become like wandering spirits.
So it could be translated into
Is that right? Is
something
that the name
like
for them?
it has a notion possibly of return or rising. So some people go pretty dark with some of that interpretation, but they are people great of stature.
Repha does?
Is
Is it a different route than Rapha to heal?
I think it is related to that, and that's the idea. Like some people see them as like Nafal could be translated to fall, and Rafa could be the opposite, essentially.
Okay.
It's debated.
Right.
Yeah, longing for the specific water may have been improper. I think I've heard Yoav correct me. I think you can. Doesn't this water source still exist? Isn't it like a spring? It's like mineral water or something.
Where?
The well that's at
Exactly where? That's what the question. Where is Bethlehem? I mean, if I read it, it seems as if David is in Jerusalem, and Philistines are in Bethlehem, which is sort of not far away from Jerusalem at all. But it is all up on the mountain. Since when, in the time of David, could the Philistine climb all the way to the peak of the mountain? I mean, it means that they conquered all of the kingdom, and only and they were besieging Jerusalem with nothing else left. I would have heard about it if somebody should have told me about it, just not by this silly story. So I'm sorry. I mean, I wish I could help you more, but this chapter is absolutely A riddle upon an enigma.
I mean, yeah, like why is that like the well at Bethlehem inaccessible at this point? And it's just David's poetic way of saying, "I wish these Philistines were driven out." But this is also interesting because this calls back to David's second chance to take Saul's life that deals with a sneaking mission in the dark and the seizure of water from somebody unawares.
Right.
Again, connections where I don't see or echoes where I'm not sure what the sense or the point that's potentially being made is.
I see within this, there's situations where, the former Canadian Prime Minister got in a lot of trouble because he accepted a bunch of gifts as Prime Minister. That you just kind of go, I don't know if you should accept those gifts because that's a kind of corruption. You actually, if you want something and someone tries to give you it for free, that could actually be really bad. This happens with the cave of Machpelah. The people of the land want to just give it to Abraham, and he says, "No, I have to buy it from you." And they are like refusing, and he has to put his foot down twice as much to say, "No, I have to buy this from you." Right? Like, Abraham doesn't want to take gifts from the wrong source.
See, I don't see any like criticism or anything that's going on here as far as like, because with the Abraham situation, that's him dealing with outsiders. Here, David is speaking out loud, and he has his troops that love him so much that they do this act of incredible heroism to provide a gift for them. All that seems completely above board, and the sort of thing you, as a troop, would kind of want to do to distinguish yourself before the king.
Mm-hmm.
And this could almost be like David coming to grips with the fact that, like, oh, when I'm king, even like the little like wistful sentences I say, like, man, it would be nice to get a little drink. Like, people are going to take that and risk their entire lives in order to get me what I want. So it could be a little bit David reckoning with the fact that, like, every kind of like reckless word that I drop will be picked up and
I like that
extreme severity. And so this is almost his way of, again, elevating what they've done, or maybe redirected, like maybe a way of saying, like, that's the sort of devotion that should be going to God alone versus.
Oh, did I lose you, Cassandra? Are you still there?
Yes.
It appears that Matt is. So that is a very interesting idea. What kind of in my head in reaction to that is I used to volunteer a lot at a drop-in that served the homeless in Toronto. And I showed up early for something one time, and I would just, like, I had friends that were there. And I was just hanging out with like a homeless dude on a park bench, and we were talking for a bit. And the Canadians got him. That's pretty funny. And I said I was thirsty, and the homeless guy reaches into, and he went to a breakfast program earlier that day. And they gave him like a snack lunch. And he gave me the apple juice. He just gives it to me. Here, it's yours now. Right? And I was just saying that I was thirsty. And now I feel really bad because I said I was thirsty. And so I can't say no to him giving me this drink. But now I just took this homeless guy's drink. Right? Like, yeah, it felt very strange to me. And so I think about this now in relationship to that. I imagine, because like wells have a particular flavor as well, right? Like I have I have family in Michigan, and when I visit them, the water tastes different than where I am, right? You switch towns, it's different, right? So David wants Bethlehem water, right? He's you know, to be in your hometown, and you want a slice of pizza or whatever, the way that Windsor is known for a particular kind of pizza. There's a particular group of Italians make a particular kind of pizza just in Windsor. It has canned mushrooms, don't at me, and they grate the pepperoni. Those are the characteristics. So if ever you're in Windsor, Detroit has its own pizza, whatever, right? So when I'm home and my parents say, "What do you want?" One of those days I want pizza. So I'm just wondering, he wants the hometown thing, but he just desires it. And like you were saying, Matt, he just says it as a careless word. Wouldn't it be nice to have this? And someone risks their life to get it for him. You can understand why he then says, I can't do that.
It's pretty, I mean, I know they're his men, but I was thinking this is pretty like gallant of them. Like this is something knightly about this. But I guess in the picture that I have of it, it's like almost like maybe not necessarily a romantic gesture, but I could feel like a story like this playing out too, where you have a queen or some lady that has an idol request that is then fulfilled by the knight. Something about it reminds me of like those kinds of stories.
Yeah. Yeah, and the gallantry that was described previously about the sneaking that Matt, you were bringing out before, there's something in that, like the ninja mission, the covert group sneaking in, doing the one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this is a very weird chapter.
Yeah. And it's very interesting that he pours it out to Adonai, to God. Because he is treating it like an offering to God. Because also, if it is this high level, incredible thing that's brought to him, it's like the highest level of sacrifice to give it up then.
Yeah, it's precious.
Yeah. And that also is what you're supposed to do with blood. You're not allowed to drink it. I've given it for you to be poured out onto the ground. That's how blood is, in Leviticus.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing there, David. Just the musician making this creative connection. This isn't just water because of the danger you put yourself in to get this. This is, yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting, because then would the men, if David takes this and offers it up to the Lord, would they have been scorned by this? Or would they have seen that as even greater? Like as honoring to them, not dishonoring them. Not, yeah.
I mean, he's clearly praising them, like the men who went at risk of their lives. It's not like you guys did a silly thing. You guys did this great thing.
Right. And so the greatest honor of it is like, we're going to present it to, it's God who's going to drink it, not me. Kind of a thing, right?
I do gotta say though, there is sort of like a masculine element of like sort of like drunken dare going on here too.
Mm-hmm.
Just do like getting a dumb idea in your head when you're a little bit too loose and doing something like that. Like part of just male dudery is also a little bit at play here, but it's in service of the king and it's elevated to this really, really great level.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, you read now. I made Cassandra read so many times from verse 18.
Okay. All right. So now Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief of the 30, and he wielded his spear against 300 men and killed them and won a name beside the three. He was the most renowned of the 30 and became their commander, but he did not attain to the three. And Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was a valiant man of Kabzeel, a doer of great deeds. He struck down 2 Ariels of Moab. He also went down and struck down a lion in a pit on a day when snow had fallen. And he struck down an Egyptian, a handsome man. The Egyptian had a spear in his hand. But Benaiah went down to him with a staff and snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, and won a name beside the 3 mighty men. He was renowned among the 30, but he did not attain to the three. And David set him over his bodyguard.
I use this expression, by the way, he was a mighty man, but he did not attain to the three. Is like, I really like saying that for like someone who does a good job, but not the best, right?
It did not medal, but
Yeah.
beat their personal record.
It was incredible, but he did not attain to the three. Like I use that as an expression all the time. Yes. You could say that to your wife if like the food was really good. It was very good. It did not attain to the three, but it was still quite good. Or like a movie or whatever. Yeah, start using it. Why is he handsome? Who cares?
Because he shaves?
Well, that's what I was thinking. A lot of times they don't really describe them, or they'll have one trait. They'll be tall, or they'll be handsome, or they'll be fat. But it is interesting that they're like, by the way, he was a handsome looking guy.
Yeah. He killed him. Gorgeous dude. Killed him with a spear. What? Go back to the beginning of the book. Who is at the beginning of the book? Who is handsome?
David.
And Saul. They're both good-looking dudes.
Is Saul good looking or is he just tall?
I thought he was also.
Question.
Totally hot. No.
That's the question. Is it true
I
love
mean,
or is
those
he
two
just
kind of
tall?
go together a little bit.
Cassandra, that's so good. That's so good. He's not good looking. He's just 6'5". Those are different things.
Nothing though. It's sort of like it did not attain to the three, but it's still worth mentioning.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually,
the biblical text describes Saul as being a handsome man in 1 Samuel 9:2. Young and handsome man.
Is David described as being good looking?
There was not a more handsome man than he among the sons of Israel. Yeah, David's also good looking. He's also
okay.
Yeah, both handsome.
Worth noting, David also killed a lion and took an enemy's sword and killed him with his own sword.
David was a short king, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I think it's just when he's younger is when he's short. I don't think we have any indication he continued to be short.
Yeah, I'm sure he was average height. Average.
No gold, no silver, no bronze. But you still did great. Have a good time. Yeah, so connect with the Egyptian. I like that we're getting into Joab's relatives over here too. That's a good time. What is an aerial? What are you giving me?
Is it a bird?
The meaning of the word aerial is unknown.
Oh, I'm going dark again.
Okay. Yoav, do you have any idea what an Ariel is? Verse 20.
It's literally the god, lion of a god.
The lion of a god?
It's a lion that belongs to a god. Yeah.
So
This is what it literally means. I mean, I have no idea what this chapter is all about, but if you ask me,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ariel. Okay, yeah.
the two lions of the god of Moab.
Yeah. Okay. So
Did Moab have sacred lions?
did they have
No, but I mean, you still you have sometimes statues of lions in temples.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't there be a lion in the temple of the god of Moab?
Is this another heist like the water thing? He goes in and like beheads their two lion statues?
Yeah. Then he kills another lions in the day of the snow. I have no idea what they're talking about.
this is also
There's a lion in the pit in the day of the snow.
yeah.
I mean, when they wrote it down, everybody knew what the day of the snow was because they don't bother to say that, yes, you know, that day of the snow, yes, this is when it killed the lion. I have no idea what they're talking about.
No. 5 years ago in Tacoma, we had snowpocalypse. We remember. It was a great day, great weekend.
So how many lions has this guy killed?
3.
Okay. All right. Yet somehow this guy does not attain to the 3. Man, to get into that 3, eh?
I mean, once you get in, it's a huge insult to get the boot from the 3. So it's sort of like once you got your 3 locked in, you can't replace anybody. So you just got to put a lot of positive versus negative asterisks next to them. And
No, it's okay. This is what made him the chief of the bodyguards.
Yep.
You don't get to be one of the 3, but you get the chief of the bodyguards.
And isn't this the guy who becomes Solomon's Joab?
I don't know. That does not sound familiar to me.
At the very least, like when Solomon finally takes the throne, I think Benaiah is sort of his hatchet man, who dispatches Joab amongst others.
Yeah. In his later role in the reign of King Solomon, he was a valiant warrior, one of David's mighty warriors, and later served as commander of Solomon's army. Yeah, good catch. Solomon's support. He actively supported Solomon's claim to the throne, helping to ensure a peaceful transition of power. He was tasked with carrying out the execution of individuals who opposed Solomon, including Adoniah, Yoav, and Shimei. So, Yoav, look out for dudes named Benaiah. Oh, what does his name mean again? I think his name means God builds. Yeah. It's Hashem has built. Hashem builds. That being the name of the guy who's going to build, like the leader when they're building the temple.
Yeah.
Good catch. Okay. He's of Kabzeel. Have you been to Kabzeel? Is this what? I don't know any. Like, it's again the groupings that these guys are a part of. It's a strange bit. It was the most remote city of Judah, located in southern Judah, on the border of Edom. Okay, let's continue, shall we? I can't. Cassandra, you want to read? I can't remember who I asked last.
Asahel, the brother of Yoav, was one of the 30. Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shema of Harod, Elika of Harod, Helez the Paltite, Ira the son of Akesh of Tekoa, Abiezer of Anathoth, Mebunai the Hushathite, Zalman the Ahoites, Maharai of Netophah, Heleb the son of Baana of Netophah, Ittai the son of Rabiah of Gibeah of the people of Benjamin, Benaiah of Pirathon, Hiddai of the brooks of Gosh, Abi Albon the Arbathite, Asmaveth of Bahurim, Eliaba the Shalbanite, the sons of Jashan, Jonathan, Shema the Harite, Ahiam the son of Sharar the Harite, Eliphelet the son of Ahosbai of Maacah, Eliam the son of Ahithophel the Gilonite, Hezro of Carmel, Paarai the Arbite, Yigal the son of Nathan of Zobah, Benai the Gadite, Zelek the Ammonite, Naharai of Beroth, the armor bearer of Yoav the son of Zariah, Eri the Ithrite, Gareb the Ithrite, Uriah the Hittite, 37 in all.
So interesting. The 30 was actually 37. But it's look. The 30s, that actually, I think that comes up in Kill Bill Volume 2, the crazy 88. They're not really 88. It just sounds better. Like, you don't want to call them to like the 80, 83. That just sounds bad. The 88 sounds great though.
It becomes its own brand, the 30.
Yeah. It becomes brand. So you have a couple extra people that are like, make him one of the 30. But sire, that would be 31. I do not care. Make him one of the 30.
They're real strict with that 3 demarcation, but they get real loosey-goosey about the 30, you gotta say.
I like that so much. That's so good. Oh, yeah.
Wow. The problems with having so many mighty men. That's actually a lot.
Mhm. It's interesting as well. Asahel gets brought in, is one of the 30. So this guy has been such a problem. This family has been such a problem, but I mean, he's part of it, guys. He's one of them. Emphasizing that there's a guy from Benjamin. That's the only tribe that's really mentioned is Benjamin, which again plays this role of the importance of the unification.
But not just Benjamin, but Gibeah. That's Saul's town, too.
Yeah. That's right. It's sometimes even called Gibeah of Saul. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have the son of Achitophel.
That's right. Yeah, is this ancient Jewish NATO? Thank you, Yargod. Yeah.
Not quite that big, but like Team of Rivals, maybe?
No, I think it was, because the big picture is it's the beginning of the Iron Age, and you're racing to construct empires.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the game, there will be one empire left standing. That will be the Empire of Ashur. Mm-hmm. So you have to make alliances. So David starts with actually killing all the Philistines he doesn't need, making alliances with the Philistines he can, and then annexing the Moabites and the Ammonites. And then Solomon, after him, realizing that he cannot, by military force, go any further. So he make political deals with the Phoenicians. And he married some 1,000 wives in order to get so many deals. And then you have Ahab later heading a coalition that is trying to stand up to the Empire of Ashur. Unfortunately, they lose, but they were scrambling to get as big as possible as soon as possible. Because the first one to build an empire wins.
Yeah. You're being bothered about how you are counting the Omer. There's a bonfire.
Well, we are not encouraged to actually make bonfires this year after having quite a few devastated fires just a few weeks ago, on which Jacob didn't lament, sadly enough. And tomorrow and the Saturday are going to be again extremely hot. And there is a war going on. So you don't want the fire department to be overburdened today. So we're trying to make as few bonfires as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's another element which is very important to the list of them, and I'm sure someone caught it, but it's the last guy. The last person named is Uriah the Hittite.
Maybe by the time at the end of the time of David, there were only 30 remaining. There were 37 also the period, but at one time at the end, only 30 remained.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah.
It is. So the 30 were like his special troops, right then?
Mm-hmm. It also, to me, and I think I mentioned it when we were covering the section, the notion that Uriah was unknown to David seems to me like you have to be ignorant of the text. You have to only be reading that one chapter to think, oh, he's calling this poor soldier in. It's like, just think about what this means, right? How many like head generals does someone like David have? I would not be surprised if like the number of divisions he has is like these are the highest levels of authority that he has among his army. And this was a guy who went out with the army over and over again. And Uriah has a house close enough to the king's palace that the king can see into his house, like they're neighbors, and he's one of the 30. So it's very, very interesting that in this chapter, like we have the ending is the next chapter, but we are being reminded in the way that it's why put Uriah as the last name mentioned. It wants that to be what we're left with. A reminder of David's downfall. Because this poem up at the top, it's beautiful. It's all about how secure he is, right? Who's getting? Is that a bomb? Is that what is? Do you have to? Are you really? Are you safe? Is it? Okay. All right. Okay. So we get a poem. Yoav was kind of saying this last week. The passage that we were going through, it sounds positive, but then we know about David's downfall. So it's the same thing. Unification, everything's good. Here's a list of all these mighty men who are incredible, who killed men who are incredible warriors. And not only were they incredible warriors, but they were also the hottest dudes around, right? They're just doing a great job. Also among that group was Uriah the Hittite. And that's where we end.
Right. Mighty men over worthless men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's a worthless man? Does he define that?
The first worthless men we saw were Eli's sons,
Right.
who took their position of privilege and used it to take whatever they want.
Mm. Yeah, so corrupt, exploitative.
Exploitative, taking whatever woman they want. Go ahead.
I wonder if that's some of the water story subtext. How David deals with the gift of water shows whether he's a mighty man or a worthless man. Like, is he using his position to feed himself or to elevate those around him?
Yeah. That is interesting. Because that is very dependent on how we interpret the water. Is he good with the water? Is that the right response? I think it might be. I don't know.
It seems like it's just one of those ambiguous things that David got away with it sort of because he's David. He was able to kind of like creatively spin it in a way that brought people together. But then we also have the story to kind of like that's also recorded. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to know how to feel about it. But I like it just seems on the surface totally positive, sprung out from a somewhat reckless thing David started off doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does seem like things are good for David always. It works out, but I mean, I know, but there must be something deeper with the way we see the way he deals with things. Is that there is something deeper going on. But it's hard to copy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't advise someone to do some of those things because they're usually going too far when they do.
Yeah. You can't just be like David because that you probably have more of a superficial level of copying it, and it won't be quite right. It won't be quite what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, David's story is like incredible. It's like completely complex. The line between mighty man and worthless man wavers through him throughout the story.
I love that as an explanation. The line between mighty man and worthless man wavers within him. Going back is like, what kind of? Oh, that's beautiful. Cassandra, that's why you're missed when you're not here. That's a great comment.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's ever any stories about David that focuses maybe more on the complex political part, but like when Yoav was saying, the idea of Uriah's wife, like rather than it being one-sided and her just kind of being like, oh no, he saw me, there's more of like intrigue going on behind the scenes is interesting. I think especially with Uriah being part of the 30.
The only reason she reads better than you do. Let me tell you, Cassandra, you did an excellent job through those names. When you started reading those names, I felt so bad because there were so many names. I was like, how's she going to do? And then you did really well. I was like, oh.
You know, after years of like reading, having to read out loud, like in Bible studies like this in Jewish names, I don't know all the proper pronunciations. You kind of just have to keep going. You don't stop. You just keep reading.
Yeah. It's where my dyslexia definitely comes in.
Yeah.
That is. Well, were you going to say something, Cassandra?
No, I think it's still better to have you read than doing some channels. I see they use AI. They have AI read everything.
Oh, no, thank you. You can't, guys. Don't feed the demons, okay? You gotta. We're getting this one to read for us. I don't like looking at a blank screen, so we just have this gold cow instead.
Look at how our chapter started. The breath of the Lord and the word of God on our tongue. The robot can't do that. They don't breathe.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yoav, everyone needs to be reminded that Yoav just sits there, very mild-mannered, but the dude's a badass, and he treated an air raid siren like it's when your fire alarm goes off. Like it's just a minor inconvenience for him that he didn't even notice. He's just like,
I noticed, but okay. The situation like that. There is a ballistic missile coming at me from Yemen. It's a lot of thousands of miles away.
Right. Yeah.
It's probably not going to hit me exactly on my head.
Right.
But it's probably going to be taken down. And there's going to be lots of sharpener. But if I'm in the house, I'm not afraid of a piece of metal falling on my head.
Great point.
And anyway, we're getting one once every 2 days we get one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do get used to it, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm trying to looking what was the result of it. Okay. Yeah, we have intercepted that one. Usually, sort of 98% of the time we intercept it. So this one was intercepted as well.
Jacob says he is learning Torah. The angel of death can't get him. That's how it works. You're in the house.
Yes, and if something happens to me, I mean, I need a lot of brownie points. I hardly.
That's right. This will get you a little bit higher up.
Yes, I hardly ever did anything good in my life. So.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of them. So. Okay, I think we're going to leave the passage there, unless there's other things that people want to talk about. I wanted to show something as a visualization. We always get text notes. If you're reading in the ESV, you'll see this, and it'll say, "Okay, you like right over." Okay, can you see that? There'll be like a text note, a footnote, so you can know if there's a debate about the Hebrew, if a name means something else. And oftentimes there'll only be like one note, sometimes not even in a chapter. This is our chapter, right? It's Hebrew from rain, or the favorite of the song. Like when Yoav was talking about how debated so many of the words are, that's even addressed in the fact that the number of footnotes it has is expressing that. If you can't read your Hebrew, read your footnotes, okay, people? I want to stop there. I kind of, purposely was camping only in this section because I want to call Yosef out for the last chapter for it. But this was a great group. Thank you guys for your interaction. Thank you, Jacob, who's actually interacting on topic too. Yanni, Don. Oh man, now I wanted to say Donnie because I just said Yanni. Don, who there's no way I'm picturing correctly. Whoever this dude is. Do you guys know this dude?
I've seen him around in the comment sections before.
Yeah.
And we also had Yehuda at the beginning. So thank you everyone for coming out. Check the link that Yoav dropped if you want to have a good time. I can't remember what it actually is.
It's a song about the affair of the water, the three heroes bringing water to David.
Nice. Again, okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I'll see you all later.